Hello there, good morning. Welcome back to my channel with this continued back to school week. I am so excited to talk to you today. This is actually going to be a two-part video because I just had too much to say and I'm afraid this video would get too long. And so today I'm going to be talking about some of our core curriculum subjects. I shouldn't use the word curriculum because you're going to see that we are really cutting out the curriculum from our life. So today is our core subjects, and then tomorrow I'm going to be talking to you about some extracurriculars, some resources that we use, things that we do for our rotating subjects daily. But today I'm going to talk to you about the core of our homeschool. I have to mention a couple things. First of all, I have a very exciting giveaway for you that I know you are going to love, and I'm going to talk about that at the end of this video, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Secondly, I did over the summer a very detailed several weeks where I broke down all of the subjects that we do in our homeschool by specifically how we do each subject. And I have them all in a playlist, and I will link that playlist down below so that if you wanted to specifically see more about history, about how we actually do that, or about language arts, more than the summary I'm going to give you today, you can check out that particular video in the playlist. So let's get started. For those of you who are new to my channel, I'm Julie. I have 8 children. My oldest is almost 14. She'll be 14 in October, down to my baby who is just almost 11 months tomorrow. 11 months. So I have a wide variety of ages. I was homeschooled myself during part of my education, which you can see my unschooling through high school video. If you haven't checked that out, you can also see that in that playlist that I told you about. So I do have a different perspective of homeschooling than a lot of homeschooling moms do who are just starting for the first time. And one thing that I have noticed in our homeschool is the benefit of delight-directed learning. It has been an evolution. I started out with delight-directed learning, but within a couple years as my kids got to that school age, I just felt the pressure of needing to create the classroom at home. I created a very rigid schedule. I was trying to cover a lot of things and we were not enjoying it. And so these days, I feel like every year I cut out more and more from our to-do list and allow my children to learn about the things that fascinate them at the pace that's appropriate for them. So let me, okay. There are a few subjects that we do together as a family. It's very limited, but one of the big ones that we do together is our history and geography. These are combined as one. I've talked about this many times before. We use Story of the World. We are halfway through book 3. We kind of took our time last year. We really enjoy just going slowly and soaking up this curriculum. I guess you could call it a curriculum. This book set by Susan Weisbauer. We are probably, I would imagine, we'd finish book 3 and move on to book 4. I do not worry about starting or ending books within the restraint of a school year. That's just no problem to me at all. We are schooling for life, and so there is no hurry for me to finish something by May so that I can start a fresh book by August or whatever your times are within your homeschool. We homeschool year round. We take breaks, like we just, this month, we're taking the whole month off for summer and then getting back to things, but I really have no particular beginning or end. So we paused on this book, we're halfway through it, and we will pick right back up where we started when we get back to it in August. Once we move into book 4, I had a conversation with somebody recently and it made me want to share this information with you. Book 4, you've heard me talk about the coloring pages in here. And again, if you watch my video that I will link, you can see how we use those. Book 4, I have not purchased it yet, but I know that it does not have those coloring sheets as part of the book. I guess they're considering book 4 of more of a upper level that children wouldn't want to color. I'm not exactly sure the reasoning why. It's kind of a disappointment to me. However, they did, I guess probably from the backlash, I don't know, they did create a set of coloring pages to go with book 4 that's sold on a separate website. And so I will link that down below in case you get to that point of book 4. I want to say it's maybe $8 or so for that pack of coloring sheets, if I'm remembering right off the top of my head. So that's something that I definitely will be purchasing when we get to book 4 because my kids do enjoy coloring those sheets while they're listening to me read from the book. Okay, I'll move on from there. That's history and geography, because every day there is maps and you do map work along with it. So that's the bulk of our geography. And I will stop there since I have a whole video dedicated to how we exactly do that. Okay, our next big one is math. Several years ago, we switched to teaching textbooks, and I have not looked back. It has been the biggest blessing in this house. I am not naturally a math person, and the program that we started with was requiring too much of me trying to figure things out and explain it. My kids were not getting it. Once they got to a certain level, it was just turning into a daily stress. We switched to teaching textbooks, and it has been wonderful. My kids are all doing well in math. Even the ones that were struggling have now clicked, and they are into it and doing well and accelerating. The program everything is online. It's the 3.0 version is what we use. It's all online. So you have somebody giving a lecture about the new concept online. It's interactive. As the lecture's going along, your child can interact with it. They have so many features. I can't even begin to tell you all about it. I actually have already done a full review video of teaching textbooks, and I will link that below so you can check it out. But do yourself a favor and go to their website and see for yourself. Even, like I said, even if you are in the middle of a curriculum like I was, we were halfway through our books with the curriculum we were in before when I said, I can't do this anymore. I need some more help, and my kids need a fresh start. And so that's when we switched, was right in the middle of those books. I just put them away and we switched to something new. So one thing that's really great on their website is that you can get a free trial. Basically, it's just the first 15 lessons of every level are offered for free on their website. It doesn't require a credit card or anything. You just go and say you want to sign up for the free trial, and then you can check out the first 15 lessons. You know, like most curriculums, it kind of starts with a little bit of review, so it'll start, those lessons might be a little easy of how that level typically is. But I think what was helpful for me is that it gave me an idea of the flow of the program, of how things worked. I could check it out and see the little buddies and, you know, what it would be like for my child. Look at the parent features, because there are a lot of, in the parent section of the website, you have a lot of control over, you know, if you want to allow your child to take a second chance, or if you want hints to be allowed, or if they totally just did not understand a lesson, you just want to wipe out that lesson and start over. All of those kind of options you have in your parent section. So teaching textbooks is something that my children will do 4 days a week. Typically, how we did it last year is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday were our school days. And then Friday, we went to community Bible study. Now that has changed this year with all of the different measures that people are putting in place around the world. They have decided not to meet any CBS classes across the country, is what I'm understanding from the email I got. No one is meeting together. They are offering a, what do you call it? It's an online, there's a name for it, where you can meet together virtually, is that it maybe? And, you know, meet and discuss that way. However, we are actually going to not be participating in that this year. I had really felt the Lord kind of leading me in a different direction, but I was feeling unsure, and this just kind of confirmed it for me. So we're not going to be doing CBS this year. We are actually going to be studying the Bible together with my husband as a family on those days when we would normally be in CBS. He is now working from home, which is also something that changed since, you know, all of this virus stuff popped up a few months ago. He is now a work from home guy, and it's been such a blessing to be able to have him here. And so we are going to just take some time each week to do Bible study together as a family. And then, of course, my kids, and they actually, part of their morning checklist is to read the Bible themselves each day, or if they're too little to read, they listen to it. So they are reading through the Bible each day of the week, but then we're going to sit down once a week and do Bible study ourselves. So this is actually the book. This is not a kid's book. This is not for teaching kids. This is not a homeschooling book. I just wanted to show you this is the book that my husband did a men's Bible study with and is still in. And together they are going through this book, and he has been just really changed by this book. And so then he came and shared it with me, and it has been incredible. And so his idea is to kind of course, this book is written for adults and it's way over the heads of our kids. However, we're going to use it kind of as a guide to go through the Bible and study together with our children. So it'll just be open discussion that we have together. We'll see what comes of it. I don't know. We'll see where the Lord leads us, but he's so faithful, isn't he? Okay, moving on. Language arts. I am making a big change with language arts this year. Every year I've kind of let go a little bit more in this area, and this year I am just letting the reins go. We are not going to do fix-it grammar this year. I'm taking a little break from that. It was a great blessing for my older two, gave them some foundations of grammar, but we are taking a little break from that this year, and we are just doing copy work. I have seen the benefits already of copy work with my children. Copy work, if it's an unfamiliar term to you, literally just means copying a passage from a book. Just like the great masters used to learn to write and paint or draw many, many, many years ago, they would learn by copying from great works. And then after copying for many years, they would get to the point where they naturally went on to doing their own expressions. And it is the same for language arts. And so you would take a book, and you would find something. What I'm doing is I'm working with each child to find what's appropriate for that child, and we will find a passage that they want to work on copying, and then literally for a certain portion of time each day, they will just write that into their composition book, write that passage. They will write it all spelled correctly. They'll put in the correct punctuation, the capitalization. Everything will be copied exactly from the book into their composition book. This is a very natural way for kids to learn good grammar, spelling, just the flow of how quality literature is written. All of this they will absorb over time, of little by little, just a little bit each day, copying from a quality work of art. So I actually just had a girlfriend text me this morning asking me about copy work and saying, you know, what do you choose for your copy work? So I explained to her that all of my kids, I'm kind of letting them choose. We're working together, because the more you put in your kids' hands, the less resistance you're going to have. So my oldest daughter, who's very passionate about animals, she is actually wanting to copy, and has been on her own without me ever telling her to. She copies from the research books that she gets. So she will be copying things that are a little different than the rest of my kids, but it very much applies to the passion that she has in her life, and her future focus in studying is all animals. And so she is, without any hesitation, copies at least a full notebook sheet like this from her books. She just really enjoys it. And sometimes she'll draw illustrations or, you know, trace from the book along with it. She's passionate about it. Now I have another child who is not passionate about copy work, to put it lightly. And so for him, I talked it over with him, you know, what would you like to copy from? Surprisingly, he picked the Bible, which is not what I expected, but I went ahead and I got a Bible passage that he wanted to copy, and I photocopied it and enlarged it, because I knew it would be extra strain for him to read those small words while he's trying to copy. So I just photocopied it enlarged, and he wanted to kind of highlight it as he went along to show that he was done. So for him, he is not going to be copying a full page a day. That would be very strenuous for him at this point. And so we're just going to do a few lines a day and build up his stamina. And as this is what we've done over the summer. As he was able to do a few lines, then eventually we added one more line. And again, we'll add one more line, and it will build up that physical act of writing for him. I have a couple kids who chose the McGuffey's Readers. That's one that I like to encourage if people aren't sure what to do, because they are more, well, there's a lot of, I have all the McGuffey's Readers, so there's a lot of different age levels there. There are some passages that are shorter, like poems, and so it feels like more of an accomplishment to copy that rather than, you know, copying out of a whole book at their age. So basically your opportunities are endless, and it is enough. Copy work is enough. I was so encouraged by some moms who have done copy work, like Darcy Isabella. I've talked about her before. She has had kids that have gone on to graduate and from their homeschooling high school and move on to education beyond, and all she did was copy work. That was it for her language arts with her kids, and she again said it's enough. So the other part of language arts, of course, is reading. My kids, those that can read, we have a silent reading time before bed at night, and they can read throughout the day, of course. We also do family read-alouds. We are in the middle, we go back and forth between kind of fun, silly ones and more serious ones. Right now we are in the middle of Mr. Popper's Penguins. We're almost finished with this one. And then I'm going to be, two more that I have in my pile that I grabbed right here is, one of these is these lamplighter books, which if you've never heard of lamplighter books, they're incredible, incredible books. That they have taken old books that were out of print and remade them into just these beautiful masterpieces. So Stick to the Raft is one on my pile, and another Christian Heroes book, Eric Liddell. So those are just a couple that we have coming up, and I can keep you posted as we go along. It's been a long time since I did a what we've been reading video, but maybe I'll get back to those. Okay, for my 5-year-old, he just turned 5 2 months ago, and he is partway through the Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons book. Let's see, here it is here. He's about a third of the way through this book. So we will continue this book with him, and then after I'm done with this book with my kids, I have them continue reading to me from any type of easy reader book that you can find. I just want to make sure that for about 15 minutes a day, they're reading out loud to me so that I can help them progress. So he will be doing that, and I also will just have him practice a little bit of handwriting, some letter formation. I do not like to push kids too early with this because I've found, especially for boys, it seems like that's a skill that kind of develops a little later. And so I just would rather wait where they could pick it up more quickly and it wouldn't be so laborsome for them. But he has shown some interest, so we're going to practice a little bit of that. So that is the bulk of the subjects that we are doing together. And it does seem like not much, and that is because it isn't much. It's very intentional on my part that we are keeping those core subjects to a minimum. So just to reiterate, we'll be doing math every day for our 4 days of school, and then we will be doing our history and geography. This year we're going to be doing it 2 of those days, so like Monday and Wednesday, and then on the alternate days I will be having them do copy work on the like Tuesday and Thursday. I had to think for a minute. Does that make sense? And so the reason I'm doing that is because part of history, which you can see in that video that I will link below, is writing out a narration. So that will be their writing for the day. And then on the alternate days, they will be doing copy work. The reason that I am limiting our table work requirements to such a tiny amount is because I am really seeing the blessing and the beauty of delight-directed learning, and letting my kids just explore those things that they are passionate about. I have noticed that it's right around 12 that this really kicks in with children, at least in my experience. I've had 2 now that right around then I see the gifts of the talents that God has put in them kind of spark and come out. So let me just give you two examples of how this has taken off. My 13, almost 14-year-old, like I said, is very passionate about animals. Very passionate. And so she has a goal of owning her own small farm. It is a goal that she is already saving money for. She has, taken on odd jobs and is documenting all of her financial income so that she is able to invest it to help it to grow. That is because she has this goal of purchasing this farm. She has hands-on animal care, so we've been trying to, over the past years, get more animals here because she is 100% responsible for all the animal care here on our homestead, and we are continuing to bring in more animals. She researches what those animals need and how to take care of them. She researches any other just information. She has stacks of books. She checks out books from the library. She is on YouTube on channels like Justin Rhodes. She's watched probably most of his videos. This is all on her own. I do not have to tell her to do these things. She will spend hours and hours a day on this vision because it is her passion. And so we don't have to say, okay, school is beginning, now sit there and read this for 30 minutes. And while she's reading it, it's going, in one ear and out the other. That's not how it works because it is her passion. She also, like I said earlier, she has her own, oh, it just started raining. Do you guys hear that? Yay, that's so good for my fruit trees. Okay, she has her own notebooks with copy work that she has done without any prompting, taking notes on all of the things that she is learning or the videos that she watches. She takes notes on all of those things just on her own accord. And she does oral recitation. If you ask her, if you see Isabella and you ask her about anything relating to animals, you will get an earful. She will give you a full speech because she is so passionate about it. And so all of these areas of study are covered just by her one passion. Now on to Leo. Leo is 12, and like I said, again, I'm just seeing this spark in him, and I know it's going to continue with the rest of my children as they get older. So Leo is very passionate about technology. He's very mechanically minded, computer minded. He is currently building a computer. So from the components, I don't even know what to tell you because it is not my, it's not my gift. But he's acquired different things, some from people, some he's ordered online to build his own computer up to his own specifications. He does things like Blender. I should have asked him all of the different things he does. He does Blender is one that it's kind of a program that is used to create things like animated movies, that type of thing. He does Shotcut for his video editing. He has used the Scratch for Kids website, and he actually will go onto YouTube and find people who are explaining, who have tutorials of how to code different projects into Scratch, and then he will copy those and learn little by little until he, a few months ago, actually put out one of his own videos on YouTube of how to code something. He's also very mechanically minded, so he will work hand in hand with Jason on engines or, rebuilding things or putting things together, taking things apart. That is something that is a passion for him. He is a natural reader. He loves to read, and so he will read just about anything I put in front of him. So he'll read historical books, he'll read, scientific books, of course, any type of fiction, classic literature. So the other part of his education, the non-hands-on part, is coming primarily from all of these books that he's reading and absorbing. In addition, he likes to write. This is, again, I think it stems out of his great love for reading, but without prompting, he has started writing his own novel. And so he's writing about these two boys and this adventure that they're on. And he will just pick it up every few weeks. He's written some of it in a notebook, and then he started typing it on the computer. He has it divided into chapters. He has a title page. He asks me in-depth questions about grammar because he wants his book to be the best that it can be. And so he will really work hard on sentence structure and how things sound. I have prompted none of this. This has all come from him because it's the passion that God put inside of him. Catching how this goes. And so it makes me very excited to continue to see how this works with my other children and what it will look like. Okay, that is the bulk of what I'm going to talk to you about today. Now for the giveaway. I am so excited because Teaching Textbooks has partnered with me to give one of you a full year enrollment to their 3.0, their online version of Teaching Textbooks, the one that has blessed me so greatly. So there is a raffle copter below in my description box with all the directions there that you click on that. It will take you there. It will tell you what to do. You can have multiple entries. It's all listed below. One of you is going to win this wonderful math program. I'm so excited. Thank you, Teaching Textbooks, for partnering with me to offer you this. Now tomorrow, I will be talking to you about extracurricular activities, about our rotating family subject that we like to do in the morning, about resources that we use, and I have another awesome giveaway for you. So stay tuned for tomorrow as this back to school week continues, and I thank you so much for watching with me. We will see you very soon. Bye-bye.